Good morning, everybody. Today we have with us a prolific gentleman who's been involved in the semiconductor industry for many years now, a proud Pakistani, and a very big proponent of open Silicon Valley. And I am pleased to now have as a friend and supporter, I'd like to welcome Dr. Sherwani. How are you today, sir?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing great.
Great to have you with us today. Thank you for joining us. I know that you are very much ahead of the game in terms of semiconductor, but to talk to you a little bit about what you're doing and what you're doing to help the Pakistani ecosystem. And I know your current venture, SIFive, is doing some very interesting stuff. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on there?
SIFive is a company that is based on promoting and developing a new kind of chips based on a new architecture called RISC-V architecture. So in 2010 in Berkeley, they started a new architecture. It's called RISC-V, and they open sourced it, meaning it is available to all the humanity. Anybody, anywhere in the world can design chips based on that. This company was started in 2015, and our goal, very simple, is to make a new kind of chips based on RISC-V and make them available all over the world. Anybody can design of it. So that's a major difference between RISC-V and ARM and Intel, which are proprietary, and this is public, open source.
Excellent. Well, it's great to know. I think the best way to describe this is for all of us who are on a device of some sort or another connected to the internet, we're not going to be doing much communicating without having this chipset in place.
For sure.
That's very cool. Very cool to understand. So Dr. Sherwani also wanted to kind of delve in, and I know you are the proud recipient of Sitare-e-Imtiaz, which is a highly coveted civilian award from Pakistan. And I wanted to understand more about, what was your journey to that, and what are you doing today in the Pakistan tech ecosystem?
Like that. So I've been entrepreneur all my life. I started many companies, but this particular award was given to me for very specific reasons, and that is the kind of work I was doing in Pakistan. So I was doing for the last few years. I've been trying to see if we can help with education in Pakistan and see if we can increase employment in Pakistan.
Excellent.
And lately, third thing that I started is somehow to increase investment in Pakistan. So these are the three specific areas that I have been working on.
Excellent.
So the area of education, we have been trying to see if it is possible to improve through online teaching, connecting to the cloud ability of our government schools in Pakistan to have better curriculum, better teachers, and better infrastructure to teach.
Brilliant.
The second
That's great.
is development of employment in Pakistan, and that idea is related to how we can align more with China and use the development that is happening in China right now, and that is primarily in the trade war. China is trying to become independent from the rest of the world, and they want to produce their own chips. Maybe 50 to 100,000 people in Pakistan can be trained. These would be very high-paying jobs. This will have a side benefit that once those people are trained and they're developing chips, they will also develop chips for Pakistan. And then Pakistan can also become or start this path towards independence, because I do believe that semiconductor technology is something that every nation wants to be sovereign. So that we started our training center in Lahore. We are expanding that right now, so that's going well. And the third area is what is called investment in Pakistan. So we started a series of conferences here, invited from Pakistan and US. And the idea is, can we somehow promote people to invest in Pakistan, and using the simple idea that bring people from Pakistan who have been successful, who have started companies there, who have been on the journey, tell their story to American entrepreneurs, American investors, and encourage them to start ventures in Pakistan. So these are the three areas that I have been trying to contribute to.
That's fantastic, Dr. Sherwani. And I personally want to thank you because of the investment in Pakistan impetus. That's what helped me launch TechShack. That's where I was able to meet some really interesting, young, prolific people, learned a lot more about the ecosystem, and felt like I wanted to continue building on that mission that you guys had started with. So thank you very much for doing that and your service to the country. Um, in terms of just moving along, Dr. Sarwani, you know, I've seen you've been quite active and you're very, very persuasive about pushing these agendas forward. What drives that? You know, where is that coming from inside of you? I'm just curious.
Well, I happen to be blessed with great parents and great brothers and sisters, and a family which is dedicated to Pakistan. Many of my uncles, tayas, and chachas were in Air Force and Pakistan Army.
Excellent.
My own brother served in Pakistan Air Force all his life. He just recently retired as Air Commodore. And my mother was a big diehard Pakistani. In fact, there is an incident that I have related many a times, but maybe if your audience and you don't know, when my mother was on her deathbed, there was a little box sitting side of her bed, and we asked her what is in the bed, and she said, well, you get to open this box when I'm not here. That increased our curiosity, what is in the box. So when my mother passed away, and after her janaza, we all 6 brothers and sisters came back, and we were very curious. So actually, we opened that box. So in that box, she had something for each 6 of us. Something. It was not like any papers or any money, or it was a message. My brothers and sisters were actually not publicly shared their message, but I have. So here was my message. So what was there was actually my card from NED. You know, when we used to be in NED, there used to be a card, it's a small book in which they would write down how much fees you have paid, and it goes for all the 4 years. And in it was my first Pakistan ID card, the first computer issued. So my mother had kept that. So my mother had kept my first NED card, and they were both there. And in there was a message from my mother, who's now, you know, no longer with us. And that's how. So the message said that you had 3 mothers. One is me. One is that who taught you, that is NED. And third is a mother of all of us is Pakistan.
Wow.
So if you forget the mother that taught you and the mother which bore all of us, Pakistan, I would think that this would be as if you forgot me.
Wow.
So never ever forget these 2 mothers, because they are as important as I am to you. So this is my message of my late mother to me. So for other people who do something for Pakistan, maybe they do that for any other reason. I have to do that because my mother gave me a job to do, and I have to, in her memory, I have to fulfill my duty and do this job for her.
Very, very inspiring message, Dr. Sherwani. May Allah bless your mother with Jannat. That's a really good story. I like that. It's very inspiring and something you don't hear of every day. And the reason I had asked this question, Dr. Sherwani, is, you know, and now I'm trying to be a little more open and real after having done so many of these episodes. Is one thing is, you know, there's very mixed opinion on Pakistan and the situation in Pakistan. And, you know, what I'm trying to do through this show and through this channel is accentuate the positivity, right? We have a lot to be thankful for. You know, we have a lot of really good things that are going on for us. Look at us as we come out of the country. And what I'm trying to do is obviously shed a little of that positivity back into the country, because we have a ton of challenges without a doubt, but we can't get fixated on that. So thank you. That's a very inspiring story. And I hope that helps our audience understand that all is not always lost. We have to just keep focusing on what works and keep moving forward.
Yeah, I see it. I think you have to get your relationships right. So what is your relationship with your country? Is it a relationship of mother? Is it a relationship of profit, that we gain something? Is it a relationship of identity? What is the relationship? So my relationship with my country is actually very simple. That country is my mother. Now, many times mothers do bad things. They say bad things. They are angry sometimes. They actually economically may harm you. But do you ever leave your mother? Do you tell your mother, I'm done with you? You did this economic damage to me. You caused $10,000, $1 million damage to me. You said something that harmed my reputation. You did something to my wife or to my spouse, and I'm no longer talking to you. You never do that, right?
Yeah.
You always go back to your mother. Why is that? So I think all of us know inside that you can never, ever leave your mother. If your relationship with your country is that of a mother, I don't think you have to worry about what mother is doing. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So there could be floods. There could be different governments. You may love Imran Khan. You may hate him. You may love some other person, Zardari or whoever. They come and go. But the mother is always there.
True.
We work for mother. We love mother. We die for mother.
That's
So
great.
you have to get your relationships right. Once the relationship is right, everything else can figure itself out.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I agree with you there. That's a great and inspiring story. Thank you for that. And a little dose of positivity, which is always needed. The last question I had for you, Dr. Sherwani, and this is important. You've been very active and involved. What would you say to the diaspora? What do you think is the need? What should people be doing to try to engage? What are areas of focus that you think that will help?
We had a professor, his name was Dr. Faruk.
Mm-hmm.
So before going to the airport, I went to NED and I asked Dr. Faruk, what can I do for Pakistan? What can I study that would benefit Pakistan? So he told me something
Sure.
He said, Naveed, why don't you first become somebody? Because only somebody can help somebody else. So
Sure.
you should be excel in life. Do something, become somebody. So once you have reached a certain point in your journey, then you can start helping others because you need the credibility, you need the resources and things like that. To younger Pakistanis, my message is very simple. Focus on your careers. Focus on being somebody, because if you have a desire to help somebody, that desire can be much, much easier to fulfill when you have achieved something significant in your life. And anyway, I think that base that you build will help you, help your family, and it can then help Pakistan as well. So I think when we work for Pakistan and we think about Pakistan, we should not think because we support the current government or we don't support somebody. So my suggestion to everybody who's trying to work for Pakistan, the diaspora, to completely distance yourself when you're working for Pakistan. Yeah, of course you love Imran Khan, please, I think go ahead, support everything you can do to support. I have nothing against that. And I will do that as well. But my point really is, my work for Pakistan should have nothing to do with the present government or the future governments or the past government. So I think that is one message. The second thing, I think, try to get together, try to learn about each other. I mean,
Sure.
it's like, yeah, and then figure out what is somebody doing, and without being like overcritical, negative about, well, somebody's doing. I just pitch in. I try to pitch in into anything I see somebody's doing, because I always say, the katra katra se darya banta hai. Pakistan, huge ocean. And no matter what I do, it's going to be a small drop. So I appreciate every drop. मुझे कोई भी मिलता है पाकिस्तान के, मैं कुछ भी कर रहा हूँ, मैं कभी भी ये नहीं कहता यार ये तू क्यों कर रहा है, ये क्यों नहीं कर लेता, इसलिए कि it doesn't matter. वो इतना बड़ा है, उसमें जो भी कोई कतरा डाल रहा है उसका शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहिए. यार चल भाई बिस्मिल्लाह तू भी कर, सब लोग मिलके करते हैं.
That's very good feedback, Dr. Sherwani. It's really, this has been a little different twist for Tech Shack, but again, I was very inspired by what you've done and what you continue to do, and I want to make sure that this message also resonates out. It's not just about what we do; it's why we do it and how we do it. So, again, thank you very much for sharing your story today. As you know, I try to keep these short and punchy so people tune in and watch the whole episode. With that, I really want to thank you for joining me today. I appreciate your time and your continued support. To our audience, thank you very much for supporting us. Continue to like, share, and follow. Always looking for new content. If you have ideas for us, please share that with us across our social media platforms. We're very receptive. We want to see more people come through, and we want to see what we can do to continue helping Pakistan, particularly in the tech ecosystem, and growing the employment base. So with that, thank you all very much. Allah Hafiz. Thank you, Dr. Sherwani, for joining us today.